needed help, City Councilman. I don't know what the other candidates plan to do, but I know what this one has already done. He's shown that he cares about the situation and he's willing to do the work. Welcome the co-founder of the clinic, Ciro Poppiti.
Well, thank you very much, Pastor D, and to, if I could say, our family at Joshua Harvest, welcome to you. Councilman Wright, thank you for being here, everyone. So I will be brief because I know you speak from the pulpit, but I also speak from the pulpit, and I say, blessed are the brief, they'll be invited back. We agree with that? Okay. All right. And I would say this, the time for change is right now. The time for change is right now. Change in the sense that our fellow Delawareans really don't understand the pardon process, really don't understand the expungement process. I run into individuals campaigning and say, Ciro, we're going to let those hardened criminals out of jail immediately with a pardon? No, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is a woman who I met with at the first pardon clinic, pardon and expungement clinic. A woman who said to me, I didn't know I could vote. Yes, just because you've been in trouble with the law doesn't mean you can't vote in this state. We need to change now to empower people to realize they can vote, right? Okay. Second thing, she had a misdemeanor, a nonviolent misdemeanor from 10 years ago.
Wow.
10 years ago. Since then, she got married, reformed her life, has children, wants to be a role model, not just to her husband, but to her children. And because they've grown a little bit, she wants to come back into the workforce. But you know what happens when she goes out and gets a job? They check her criminal record. They say, oh, you had this, you were in trouble with the law. Well, these three other weren't. You might be a better candidate, but you were in trouble with the law. These three other applicants weren't, so we have to go in another direction. She said, am I eligible for some help? I said, yes, this is what we're talking about. Real people who have a shadow on them, a shadow that through the process we can take that shadow away because they have in fact reformed their lives. And so at the first pardon clinic meeting with me, we put her on the right path to say, okay, this is what you need to do to first get the pardon. And then once you have the pardon, we can go to the police and we can erase, we can expunge your record. So when you go for that next job interview, and they check your record, it's going to be clean. Because she, in fact, has already cleaned up her life. So why, from a government standpoint, shouldn't we empower her to get back on with her life? Yes. You know, recently I was at a barber shop on the east side, Jesse and James barber shop, and I believe Jesse said to me, Ciro, once you pay back for your crime, once you've done your service, does it ever go away? Does that shadow ever go away? That's what I'm talking about. You with me on this, Councilman? That the time for change is right now. The time to erase that shadow is right now. So we started with our first successful clinic. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know if I could help people. But in fact, I saw very clearly that I could. That we can help. That there are so many out there that are eligible, not just for a pardon, but to erase their record. And what I also realized is that the pardon process is not an easy one. The expungement process is not an easy one. So who was it? Me. To say, okay, the process is 6 steps. And folks, I'm going to take you today through step 1, but then we're goodbye. That's not fair, is it? I'm building up the hope, the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm only taking them on that first step. You see where I'm going with this? So we needed immediately to have a second clinic, not to say we are special, not to brag about who we are, but to do lawyering work, which is once you get someone down the first step, you got to take them to step 2, and step 3, and step 4, and step 5, and step 6. See them through. And in fact, We do have 15, as of this morning, was it 15 individuals who came to the first clinic, who are coming back to the second clinic so we can help them through the process. Isn't that what we should be doing? Isn't that from government and community what we should be doing? Right? Thank you. No one ever applauds, so it's very nice that I get applaud once in a while. All right. And the second clinic is also to help empower those to learn about the actual process. And guess what? We're going to have folks who come that are not ready for a pardon. They're not ready because it needs some time. From a government standpoint, you need 2-3 years of having a record clean. But we need to be an example for them. We need to say, hey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but you need to start on the straight and narrow today. And then next year, and in 2 years or 3 years, we'll be here for you. If you do your part, we're going to be here to help you if you keep your record clean, right? That's how we do it. That's how we do it, okay? The time for change is now. And if elected Lieutenant Governor, I've already put a plan out there of how we need to change the pardon system.
Right.
And the biggest thing that doesn't require a law, the biggest thing that just requires doing the right thing, is that the Board of Pardons meets 99% of the time in Dover. Well, if you live in Wilmington or you live in Seaford, how do you know what's going on in Dover? Why are we putting an obstacle in place of those who want to apply? If I'm Lieutenant Governor, we're going to have the Board of Pardons hearings in Wilmington, all right? We're going to have it in Seaford. We're going to have it in Middletown. And guess what? You ready for this? We're going to have the hearing here at the PAL Center, all right? Because you see, if you're having a hearing here, what are the folks in the community? What's going on today? What's happening? Why is government coming to my neighborhood? What's happening? And then individuals start saying, you mean if I maintain a clean record for a number of years and do my best and stay on the straight and narrow, then one day I can walk into the PAL Center and be empowered to get my record cleaned up? Yes, that's exactly what we're saying, okay? So the time for change is now. You with me on this, Jesse?
I'm with you.
All right, the time for change is now because the time for empowerment is now, all right? So our next pardon clinic is Saturday, July 16, 10 o'clock. Guess where we're having it? Are we having it in Dover?
Right here.
No, we're having it at the PAL Center. Yes, all right? So I thank our press for coming. Guess what? The press is not too interested in the Lieutenant Governor's race this year. I can't figure out why. So we thank the press for coming. It's very nice. ABC and WDEL always supporting our community. Don't forget that. Support them back for being interested in our community. And we will see you at the second Let's Clean Up What I Messed Up clinic, Saturday, July 16, 10 o'clock, right here. Thank you very much.
We're going to open for questions. Let me say this. What you just saw was when government works best. Let's be honest. Government works best when people of goodwill, in spite of color, in spite of social class and status, come together and give the best that they have just to do good. It didn't take a bunch of meetings. It took a man, Mr. Ciro Poppiti, his experience, his legal knowledge, and a dream. And isn't that how we got civil rights? Isn't that how we've done the best that we can in this country? And I believe that if we have that kind of government office, like the Lieutenant Governor's office, that we will expand our base. This is reentry. This is rehabilitation when you give that hope he talked about and see that light at the end of the tunnel.